I've got my red robe on, so let's review. I've got my red robe on, so let's review. I've got my red robe on, I'm gonna say who's right or wrong. I've got my red robe on, I've got my red robe on, I've got my red robe on, so let's review. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you're watching this video. Thank you so much, YouTube, for this wonderful platform and opportunity to share my thoughts. To everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Red Robe Review, where I discuss and review pretty much anything that resonates with me, from content to conversations or music or entertainment or politics, whatever resonates with me. If you have not already, don't be afraid to like, comment, and share and subscribe. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. On this episode today, I'm going to be reviewing the presidential debate last night. We had Kamala Harris versus former President Donald Trump. And it was very, very entertaining. I felt like it was very informative. I felt like it was definitely something that people needed to see. I was actually, in my own way, I was very impressed, entertained with both representatives. I believe that they both were passionate about what it was they were there to do. And I think that they both wanted, to deliver the best version of themselves in that debate. And I think that they both wanted to, speak to the people. There was so much that was transpiring, and of course, so much was going on. I don't think that any of us in America in this particular political climate, or even in the future at this point, I don't think any of us citizens in America can vote necessarily per party, but we definitely need to look at these candidates. Let's look at their policies and the things that they are speaking and saying, and what they're pledging and promising to do. So I think in that regard, it was very, very interesting. I want to say that I felt like the moderators did a wonderful, wonderful job. There was a lot of reprimanding on both sides. There were times when Kamala said things and the moderator kind of, adjusted and had to kind of double ask a question, or ask her to rephrase, or ask her to repeat, because, I love Kamala in a sense, but she was a bit circular at times. So I'm very, very glad that the moderators were aware of that, and they didn't necessarily allow her to circle without trying to get her back to her direct point. I felt like they were very the same way with Trump as well. I don't think that one was treated any different than the other. I felt like there were times when Trump was kind of unraveling or spewing out things, and there were facts that were highlighted, to bring down whatever it was that he may have said that was not true. I think in that regard, the moderators did a very, very, very good job. I definitely think that Donald Trump was very passionate last night. He was extremely passionate about, what his views were, and about what he was, what he felt like he had to do in order to come across over to the masses. I do want to say that there was a lot of toned rhetoric from him. There was a big difference between some of the things that I've heard him say earlier, or throughout the year, versus some of the things that he stated at the debate. I can definitely tell he took the time to kind of prepare and to be coached, and he took time to make sure that he was a bit more careful with his words and some of the things that he was saying. So in that way, I do want to applaud Trump for that. Kamala was very, very prepared. She was very, very strategic. She was very poised, very graceful. She did shake hands. She looked, not only to the audience but also at Donald Trump. She definitely tried her best to make sure that she was clear and concise when she was speaking, when some of her circulatory speaking was called out. But nonetheless, again, I think that it was a very, very interesting debate. I am not necessarily here to do this show to tell you who I think won the debate or who I think would be a good president for this particular go around. That's not why I'm doing the Red Robe review. I'm more so interested in you watching the debate for yourself, you seeing it play out, and you being able to make the best decision, for you and for what you think the country should look like moving forward. Again, certain things that both of them said I agreed with, certain things that both of them said that I disagreed with. And again, how I vote or who I'm voting for is not what this is about. But if you have not watched the debate, I encourage you to go watch it, and I encourage you to watch it from a non-biased point of view. It does not serve any of us well at this particular time to be wrapped up in what party is which. We should see both of these two individuals as people who want the opportunity to be the president of the United States. And again, what they've said is put out there in the airwaves. It's out there. There's no need to second guess it. There's no need to overthink it. There's no need to try to critique any one of them at this point. Again, they both were bold enough, in my opinion, to kind of be themselves. And I think it is up to us, the viewers, to decide which side we are leaning more towards and which side we are leaning more to. So there was a great debate. It was really, really a wonderful debate. And I'm just happy that I was able to kind of watch it from start to finish. This election is going to be huge. It's going to be very, very big. And again, because I'm not quite sure of what the turnout is going to be, I'm not going to say, who I'm leaning towards or who I'm not leaning towards, or why I like this candidate or why I like that candidate, again, because that is not what's important. What is important is that we, the viewers, are able to, in real time, research these people, their policies, and research their performances and see exactly what we're going to get. And again, whichever side you favor, just go out and vote, and make sure that you're voting from a place of making the decision that you think is going to be best for the future of this, for the present and for the future of this country. Not based upon what your mama told you to do, your daddy told you to do, your grandparents told you to do, what you was raised to do. No, we're not doing that in this present time in America. We the citizens, we the people, those of us that are old enough to vote and those of us that are legal to vote, we have to have an independent stance and have our own mind. And we have to do our own research. If you have a question about Donald Trump, this, that, and third, do your research. Look at the debate. If you have a question about Kamala Harris, do your research and look at the debate. The answers were there for you. There was I wish that we could have gotten a little bit more on policy, but nonetheless, we got enough for you to be able to decide which candidate you want. And there's no need for you fighting and arguing and going back and forth with your fellow American citizens about who you think is going to be best. Simply hush, be quiet, look within yourself, do your research, and go vote. That's all I can really say about that, is to go vote. But the debate, again, the debate was very informative. There were moments when it was entertaining. There was a lot of questions that I didn't think neither side was going to answer that was answered. And there was, definitely better answers in certain areas from a certain individual. Now, who that individual was, again, is really not for me to put out there or say out loud. But I want you to take this time. And again, if you have not watched the debate, go watch the debate, do your research, and truly, truly be honest with yourself about who you think will have the temperament and who will have the policies, who will have the best plan for the present and future America that we will be residing in. So that's pretty much all I have on that. I do hope that again they debate. I hope they debate again, so again we can kind of get even more details about policies and about their personalities and about their personal temperament. So I hope that for the sake of us all, they do debate again before November the 11th, I think. No, whenever in November the election is, I forgot the exact date, but I will be there and registered. I'm already registered to vote, so I will be there and I will be voting. But nonetheless, who you vote for is truly your choice, and who you vote for, you don't have to explain to anyone else. But what I think is important is that again you do vote, and that you do not judge your fellow American citizens and the people around you for how they choose to vote. That is not the purpose of a democracy, and that is not the purpose of why people have labored and suffered and gone through tragedies so that we can all have the opportunity to vote. So, if not for nothing, do your research, look at the debate, and get out there and go and vote. Until next time, Red Robe Review.